What's up, guys? Bryce and Michael RC here, and we've got the new drone in. Just came in today. This is the Martian II. It's kind of the clone of the Alien. I think it's the Alien 6, I think is what they call it. I'm not exactly sure. It's got a few differences from the Alien. For one, the bolts here are completely different. I don't know what it's called, but these are kind of the same bolts and stuff that are on the QAV 180, the QAV 210, and some of the other clone drones and such. The Alien actually has bigger, I think a little bit more tougher bolts, and I think the Alien bolts themselves are the same colors as the spacers. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how the Aliens are. Another thing too is you're not going to be able to see it here, but we'll take it apart here in a second. I don't have all the screws in. I was kind of just putting it together just so I could show you guys this as it's put together. Then I'm going to show you guys some differences. And then we're going to put this thing together in a different video, but today. But it's got like a Captain America shield on the PDB board, and we'll be showing you guys that here after a bit. But those are pretty much the only real differences that I see between this and the Alien. I'm not sure if this is a clone or if the Alien is a clone of this, or if they're kind of just made by the same thing. Martian, Alien, kind of the same thing. But I think those are really kind of the only differences. Also, I think right up here the Alien has lines going across it, and this one has these big holes here. I think the designs in the top plate here are completely different on the Martian from the Alien, but the basic way that it's put together, the PDB board, the little mount on the back, and the way everything's shaped, and I think the sizing and everything is all pretty much exactly the same. So this one came with a ton of these screws here. This came with a ton of these screws here, and a bunch of these bolts here, a bunch of spares and such. It also comes with not only the PDB board, but there's a PDB board sized piece that goes right under here that I don't have on right now because, like I said, I just put this together to show you guys, so I didn't want to put... It's kind of tough putting this whole thing together, so I didn't put that extra piece on just so I could kind of show you. But there's a little piece that goes under here to kind of put some added strength in this little section here, not only to put some added strength onto it, but also to be a buffer between the PDB board itself and the carbon fiber, because you can't set this PDB board directly onto the carbon fiber and then plug it in, because then you would have fireworks. So what I really like about this here is it's got a little mount up here for your flight control board. Now you don't need to use this. You can actually just put your flight control board into there if you want to. But I like that it has a little spot that you can set your flight control board on, and kind of just a little bit of extra sturdiness, a little bit of extra stuff. Also a little bit of extra weight. So if you're planning on racing and not doing freestyle and things like that, you can take this piece off and just put your flight control board on. It's not really that big of a deal. What I'm planning on doing is putting bigger spacers. It comes with these spacers. I'm going to put some bigger spacers and raise my flight control board up just a little bit more. That way we don't have to worry about the flight control board and the PDB kind of touching each other anywhere. And because I've got a pre-pinned flight control board that kind of hangs down a little bit extra, and you can see how far those screws come from this plate here. So in order to just not worry about any of that, I think I'm just going to put some taller nylon spacers here, and then not use this board here, I think is what I'm going to do. It also comes with a little piece that you can put here, and then it has this little, it's a weird little, I'll get it out. I don't plan on using this. The little piece that kind of goes in here. See, I'm not using a camera that's gonna go inside of that or anything. So I didn't use the other one that I built. The other drone that I built, I didn't use this little piece. It was a square piece that has a circle in it for the camera. I'm not going to use that one, so I'm just not going to worry about it. These pop in fairly easily. You got one plate here and one plate here. They have little spots that they go in 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then on the top 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just pops right together. It's fairly easy. Comes with all of this here, all these extra bolts. I mean, it's a grandioso like mix of bolts, spacers, and nuts and such. Different size bolts. You see the longer bolts here. These longer bolts are for this part here. So just a bunch of extra stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. So in this case, if you plan on building your first drone with this, on my last drone that I built, that was my first drone, I bought a whole case of the nylon spacers and stuff. You actually don't need to buy extra nylon spacers for this because you have plenty of them right here, and it gives you nylon spacers to set up right inside of here. So you don't really have to worry about that. And then last but not least, it comes with your schematics. I'll just kind of put this on here, and you guys can freeze frame it if you're interested in the schematics. You can kind of just read through this. It looks like it's a 5-inch 220 frame. So it would be, the perimeter table would be this one right here that you need to be looking at. The 3S 100 milliamp to 1800 milliamp. I'm going to be running a 220 milliamp battery actually through it. It should work just fine. Anyways, let's get started. Let's take this thing apart a little bit, just so I can kind of show you. It comes with this hex key here, which I'm going to use on this, but I would suggest that you go out and get some of those hex drivers. These are locking nuts, so they're gonna you don't need any Loctite or anything. If you use any of these, you don't need to use Loctite because those nuts will lock down and be just fine, so you ain't got to worry about that. So that's what the PDB board itself looks like. I'm just going to take this apart real quick just to kind of show you. I didn't tighten the locking nuts down because they're super hard, and I knew that I was going to be making this video. Alright, now you see how that kind of goes together. These things just lay. You can put them on the bottom if you want to. I've seen some people do that. Lay them on the bottom there, and then put this in this kind of like that. Well, what most people that I've seen have done is you can put them inside and then put them like that. So I don't know what would be better. I think I'm going to go ahead and go this way. And here's the QAV 180 here. One of the main differences that I noticed with the QAV 180 is these are the arms. Of course, they're a lot longer, but you can see. Let's flip this over. The width of the QAV 180 is wider, but definitely not thicker. See how thick these arms are. But the good thing about the QAV 180, if you're looking at comparisons between getting a, this is going to have pretty much the same thickness and stuff as the QAV 220 and stuff. It's the same frame, it's just the 220's bigger. So on the QAV 180, the whole bottom is one piece. So it's all that thickness right there. And then your top plate is just the only one thin plate. But with this, these are pretty freaking thick, but your bottom plate is actually just as thin, if not a tad bit thinner, than the QAV 180 top plate. So this is the bottom plate, this is the top plate. Shows the thickness. I would imagine the bottom plate being a little bit thicker, but it's not. So that was kind of wild. I know that these things are good drones, and I don't see a lot of them breaking. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But these two are really, really thin. Really, really thin. Whoops. One more thing real quick before I call this a day. One thing that I don't like about this PDB board, and I might use a different one, is this just has your pluses and minuses and stuff on it. Where is your 5 volt and your 12 volt? Which one's your 5 volt and which one's your 12 volt? So where does your camera plug into, and where does your board plug into? That's something that I'd like to know. You know what I mean? So I'd like to use this, but I don't know which ones of these or which ones of these. I don't know which one goes to which. Your battery goes here, and these are your ESCs. And so these, one of them has to be for your camera, and one of them has to be for your board, but I don't know which is which. One's 5 volt, one's 12 volt. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to do some research before I do that and do the build. And we'll see you guys later. Have a good one.